This is the Who We Are podcast with Jen and Ben. And today we're talking about the second brain skill of soothing or quieting myself. So, got a new microphone. Hopefully, the audio will be better today, and we'll be able to understand what's actually going on and not frustrate me while I'm editing it. So, yeah, how are we going to start off today?
All right, well, we can just give a quick description of what soothing or quieting ourselves is. And it's being able to lower our energy levels so that we can rest after joyful or disturbing emotions. And we need to be able to do this on our own. And knowing how to quiet ourselves is the strongest predictor of lifelong mental health. So if you're able to quiet and soothe yourself, that can almost guarantee you that you'll have a good, strong mental health, throughout your whole life, which is really interesting, I feel.
Yeah. The thing that sort of stuck out to me is that you need to be able to quiet yourself after joyful times as well.
Yeah. Because, when you're joyful, you can be just on this really big high and but you need to be able to come back and just level yourself out again.
Yeah, super interesting.
Yeah.
It sort of comes like, I'm thinking of times like from when I was in traditional church as a kid, and you go to these massive concerts and it's like awesome fun, and then you come back down to reality and it's like, oh, life's still crap as usual.
Yeah, that's right. And if we don't have that skill, that's how we feel. We'll be sort of up and down all the time.
It reminds me of this week with my son Toby, because he has ear problems. It's funny because I was talking about this again, like I said, in a leader team today, but we have he has ear problems and had to get some surgery a few weeks ago. And we're like really hopeful that and praying that he would be getting better. I went to see the specialist a couple of days ago, and he sort of is getting better, but he said that he had some more fungus in his ears, and that's not a good thing. And they didn't look super. He called his ears. He said that they looked unhappy. So So I felt bad about that and sad and just dealing with those emotions, and I wasn't super. And I felt that way in the afternoon because we had to go to the doctor that evening, and we come home, and the next morning I was sitting getting this like editing stuff and doing things like that. And I just said to God, I'm like, I got to get back to joy somehow. Like I can't be like this. I don't want to be down. I want to be up and again. So I just said to God, I got to be joyful. And I said, give me joy. So I just quieted a bit. I've been doing this for a long time, so it's sort of quick for me, but it wasn't always that way.
No.
But I just quieted, and then I just felt it like flood over my body. So I just like whoosh, I just get the big feeling of joy and relief. And since then, I did it again this morning, had another chat with him, and just said that I need to have joy again. And then it was even easier today. So that's something that I've been working on with God as well, like telling him how I'm feeling in the moment. So that's just a recent memory that just popped into my head from the other day. So it's pretty cool.
So can you remember how how you were feeling in your body and your brain when you were like upset and worried and stressed about it?
Certainly.
What was going on?
It overtakes everything. It just like, I guess it pulls me down because I'm like, I can't think of anything, and then I can't connect with people. And I specifically need to be able to connect with people because that's my job, is on these calls with people and facilitating calls. And I need to be able to help people get back to joy. So I need to be joyful and not pretending to be joyful. Because pretending is the worst thing. So,
and do you think that comes across to people if it's, if you are pretending, do you think?
I never pretend. I tell them how I'm actually feeling. So I don't say, oh, I'm happy when I'm not. I tell people. And even today in my calls, I said to them, I'm not happy, and I've just gotten back to joy. And so I talk about that, and because we check in. So I check in and say how I'm actually checking in. I never pretend. And so I don't know if it would, but I can tell when I sort of sometimes, I guess the pretending for me would be not being totally honest with myself. So I'm honest with other people, but then if I'm not honest with myself in the beginning, then I can't be honest with them. So I guess that's sort of pretending sometimes if I haven't fully been honest with myself yet.
That makes sense. Yeah. Like I've just got a really weird little story like about fear in my life, and it's nothing major, but it was just a fun little thing that made me think about this sort of stuff. A few weeks ago, my daughter and her family, they bought a Tesla, and they took me for a drive in it. And we were just sort of driving along, and then all of a sudden she just guns it. And I'm just freaking out thinking, what is going on? And my body is just, like jangling and tingling and just, like feeling really, like on fire, and everything's on high alert. My brain's thinking like, what's going to happen? Are we going to die? Are we going to roll the car over? And it's just that's how I feel when I'm in a stressful situation, even if I'm, like on one of those rides at one of the theme parks, and you're sitting up the top waiting for the ride to drop, just that feeling in your body of the nervousness and your whole nervous system on alert. And you sort of can't think straight. You can't do anything, in a sensible or logical way. We need to be able to quiet from those, like those feelings in our body and in our brain to be able to get back to joy, like you were saying. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah. So how about like this week we can just talk about quieting yourself and what that's all about, and then next time we can talk about the how-tos of quieting ourselves, because it's quite a big topic, really.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So like we just need to be able to quiet ourselves so that we can have balanced relationships. And when we quiet ourselves, it actually releases a mood stabilizing hormone called serotonin. And when it releases the serotonin, it gives us the opportunity to be able to recharge our relational batteries, because we just can't be on and go all the time. We need that rest to be able to recharge, just like a battery on our phones, it needs to be recharged every now and then. And we're the same. We're exactly the same, and that's what we need. And it just, helps to calm our body and to calm our mind. And then, we're able to be more relational and just, continue with our lives on a bit more of an even keel. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that most of the time I'm calming to get back to joy. It's not away from joy a lot of the times, but I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
So it's I'd have to think about it a bit more to realize, to notice the situations where that's happened that way. So, of course, I'm naturally an angry person, so I'm always trying to get back to joy from that side of things.
Yeah.
And it's very, very effective.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so we definitely need both joy and rest. And like we were saying in our last couple of podcasts, like these skills, they're passed on from generation to generation, like through our families or through the people that we hang out with. And we can only pass on what we know. So sometimes if we haven't been taught these, like good positive skills, we're actually passing things on that we don't like to, to our families and to the people in our communities around us. And if we lack these skills, they lead to things like anxiety, addictions, ADHD, behavior and personality problems, depression, fatigue. So there's lots of really bad consequences from not being able
way worse stuff that we can pass on too, that if it's happened to us.
Yeah.
Like, but it's like what we said last time about the beeps, like we can pass that on, and we'll pass this on as well.
Yeah, and like we were saying with the beeps last week, they can also be used to like artificially quiet ourselves. If we can't do it naturally, by knowing these skills to quiet ourselves, we just resort to those beeps.
Right.
And it's the same thing. It's an artificial replacement of quiet and rest, and it
makes total sense.
Yeah.
Like buying stuff, going to the shops, all that, whatever it is, whatever our thing is, that we talked about last time.
All sorts of stuff. Yeah. So I'm just thinking, like, what are some of the signs that we need rest, do you think?
I don't know about but I could probably think about some of the things for me.
Yeah.
But so the for me, I can just feel it in my head. It feels like I'm losing control, I suppose.
Yeah.
Everything's like overwhelming.
Yep.
That sort of stuff starts happening.
Mm.
What else exactly? Like for me, it like I said, it's the anger. So if I'm getting annoyed with people, then I know that there's something going on.
Yeah.
When I'm have joy and feeling peace, no matter what happens, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Like when I was younger and in Thailand, before I learnt this stuff, I was always like angry, so I would drive the car and I'd be angry all the time and like trying to start fights with people and things like that. So that's like the far away. That was a long time ago. That's like the opposite end of this.
Yeah.
That's like extremely obvious. But for me, I can feel myself when I can't get back to joy anymore.
Yeah.
Or I haven't done it for a while, haven't checked in with anybody, haven't talked to my CO2 partner or whatever, haven't hung out with God, then I can totally feel it, and it's obvious because I start getting annoyed with other people around me. When I'm joyful, when I'm back to joy, nothing phases me at all. Like I can just deal with even the most annoying person in the world. I feel sometimes.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the signs that we need rest is, like when there is tension between, us and the other people in our lives. And also, when we find we can't make eye contact with people, and if we have extreme highs and lows of energy and just, feeling overwhelmed with things, they're all really good indications, just exhaustion that we need to take time, quiet ourselves and rest.
And especially in our busy lifestyle that we have here. And it's extremely obvious for me coming from Thailand. People in Thailand have a busy lifestyle, but I didn't for the last few years. But I notice it, and it's just like, oh, I'm going to do another thing again. I just don't want to. So I guess you could sort of like have those boundaries as well for things that you don't have to, you don't feel like doing, and don't do it just because. That's another way that we could get quiet as well.
That's right.
But then there's things that we don't have a choice about.
Exactly.
We have to do it. So you have to be able to quiet after the fact.
And I know that's how I'm actually feeling at the moment, because the last few weeks for me have been really like busy and full on, and lots of things have been happening, like in our family and outside of our family with other people in our community. And I'm actually feeling really exhausted at the moment. And I know that I need to take time and quiet and rest. But like you were saying, sometimes it's not always possible. But there's some really good calming exercises that we can do like on the spot, which is really helpful. That just helps to, like quiet us and settle us down a bit. And we can talk a bit more about those next week. And even like for me yesterday, like I've had quite a big week, but I went out and I was like out in the bush and out in nature. And that just really helped to calm me down and quiet me. That's a good thing for me to be able to do, is to be in nature and to, like just have those times out of the ordinary and in creation.
It's super cool. Like I remember a specific time we went bike riding one day, and I was waiting for Mum and my daughter Jess to get there, and I just lay down, and it was actually in the cemetery. So that was fun. But just laying down and just like looking up at the trees. It was a nice windy day. So that's a memory that I have.
Yeah. And I think like everyone sort of knows things that help to calm them, and you just need to personally sort of find out what it is that calms you, and just make sure you intentionally have time doing those things, to help you quiet and calm when you need to.
As long as it's not one of those beeps.
Definitely.
Otherwise it's fake.
Yeah, that's right. And they're like an easy go-to too, like a quick fix solution, but it's not the best solution. Yeah. So, the best way to learn, like this quietening and soothing yourself, is by being with people who practice it and just seeing how they do it. And like with practice, we can use this soothing and calming to replace the beeps that we've used. You know, if we practice it often enough, we'll realise, oh, like I don't need that glass of wine, or I don't need to, you know, go buy that whatever at the shop. So
or eat a whole mud cake or something.
yeah, literally,
Whatever.
yeah, all that sort of thing. Yeah. So rest is something that we can practice, and it's also a freedom that we can give to other people, because sometimes, you know, like maybe we pressure other people into saying, well, come on, you got to do this, but we can actually give them that freedom of rest, you know, when we understand how important it is in our lives. Yeah.
Awesome. So are we going to leave it at that today?
Yeah, I think so.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right. See you next time.
Okay. Bye.